I'm Chloe, 19 years old, an
Follow
art
us at
student with a somewhat
revengefiles.com.
romantic soul who always believes in the good in things. My first date with Alex, also 19, took place on a picturesque late spring day. The sun was golden, the air was fresh, and he suggested we go to a large nature park on the outskirts of the city. Alex had a handsome appearance, a charming smile, and an engaging way of speaking. During our walk on the tree-lined trail, we talked nonstop. We talked about our majors, our dreams, our favorite movies, and our silly fears. He listened intently to everything I said, and I truly thought things were going very well. There were moments when I believed I had just found someone who truly understood me. In his car, my denim jacket and sketchbook lay on the back seat, like evidence of a peaceful and promising afternoon. When we finished our walk, the sun had begun to set in the west. Alex said he needed to use the restroom. So did I. So he drove to the nearest store with a public restroom. It was a Best Buy. His car was parked neatly in the vast parking lot, and we walked inside together. The bright fluorescent lights and cool air of the electronics store were a complete contrast to the warm natural space we had just left. We walked towards the back of the store, where the restroom sign was. I went into the women's room, he went into the men's. A few minutes later, I walked out, feeling relieved and ready for the rest of the date. I stood leaning against the opposite wall, smiling as I waited for Alex. I waited. A minute passed, then 5. Other customers hurried in and out. The background music in the store played steadily, and the giant TV screens on the walls continued to display vivid images. I started to feel a bit antsy. I waited, and then waited some more. 15 minutes passed. My initial patience gradually turned into a vague sense of anxiety. Maybe he was having digestive issues? I reassured myself with the most plausible reasons I could think of. But deep down, a sense of unease began to spark. Finally, when I couldn't stand it any longer, I decided to text him. I typed a short message. "Are you okay? I'm waiting outside." But when I hit send, an error message appeared. The message could not be delivered. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe his phone had died. That happens all the time. I continued to pace back and forth in front of the restroom area, my eyes constantly glued to the men's room door. Another 10 minutes passed in vain. My anxiety had now turned into frustration and an unnamed fear. I felt so foolish just standing there rooted to the spot. Too tired of waiting, I decided to go outside to check if Alex's car was still in the parking lot. I walked quickly through the electronics aisles, my heart pounding. When the automatic doors of Best Buy opened, a wave of hot afternoon air hit my face. I squinted towards the row of cars where we had parked. My heart sank to the pit of my stomach. The spot was empty. Alex's car was gone. A feeling of bewilderment and disbelief washed over me. Could it be that he had to go somewhere urgently and would be back? But why not say a word to me? I went back inside the store, heading straight for the customer service counter at the front. A young employee in a blue polo shirt smiled and greeted me. I tried to stay calm, my voice trembling slightly. "Excuse me, have you seen a man leaving the store?" The employee thought for a moment, then nodded. "Oh, yes," he said. "I saw him run out of the store in a great hurry a little while ago. Looked like something was urgent." I repeated, the word hitting me like a hammer blow. "Yes, that's right. Ran quite fast." So everything was clear. He had abandoned me. Abandoned me, alone, at a damn Best Buy, a 20-minute drive from my house. Feelings of humiliation, confusion, and anger welled up inside me. I called an Uber home, my heart filled with anger. The entire way back, my mind was spinning with 1,000 questions. Why? What did I do wrong?
Follow us
Our
at
conversation was so
revengefiles.com.
good, wasn't it? I had been polite, considerate, and respectful throughout the date. I looked exactly like my pictures online. I was well dressed, and my personal hygiene was good. Whatever the reason, unless I had been verbally or physically abusive, there was no excuse for abandoning someone in the middle of a date like that. At the very least, I deserved to be taken home. If you invite me out, you have a responsibility to take me back. The anger inside me grew, overwhelming the sadness and hurt. No, I wouldn't let this go easily. He wanted to play dirty. Fine. People often say when someone plays dirty, you should take the high road. But I'm different. When someone plays dirty with me, I'll play dirtier. As soon as I got home, I turned on my computer. A revenge plan began to form in my mind. I decided I would find a member of his family on social media and tell them exactly what he had done. I began my search. I went to Alex's profile, scrolled through his friends list, looking for people with the same last name. I looked at photos he was tagged in, paying attention to comments from people who seemed to be relatives. It was a time-consuming process, but my anger gave me incredible patience. Finally, after nearly an hour of searching, I found an account that I was sure belonged to Alex's sister. Her name was Jessica, and recent family photos that included Alex confirmed it. I took a deep breath, my fingers flying across the keyboard as I composed a direct message to Jessica. I wrote a long message, recounting the entire story as detailed and objectively as possible. I started by introducing myself, talking about the date at the park, and how he had abandoned me at Best Buy. I also didn't forget to mention my jacket and sketchbook that were still stuck in Alex's car. I hit send and waited, my heart pounding. A few hours later, I received a notification of a reply. It was Jessica. The content of her message completely surprised me. She apologized profusely, saying she couldn't believe her brother would act like such a terrible person. She assured me I would get my things back, and even offered to reimburse me for my Uber ride. She said, this wasn't the first time Alex had shown thoughtless and irresponsible behavior, and she was truly ashamed of it. We messaged back and forth for a while. Jessica seemed to be a very kind and understanding person. She said she would have a serious talk with Alex and their parents. Jessica's support made me feel somewhat comforted. I no longer felt alone in my anger. Justice, in a way, was being served. The next day, while I was in my room, I heard a car brake sharply outside, followed by a light thud on the front lawn. I looked curiously through the window. It was Alex's car. He didn't get out, he just rolled down the passenger side window, threw my things out, and then revved the engine and sped off. I walked out onto the lawn. My denim jacket lay crumpled on the grass, next to my sketchbook, which was bent at a corner. My belongings had been returned, but in a resentful and contemptuous manner. Clearly, someone was very angry that their whole family now knew what a terrible person he was. I picked up my things, brushing off the dirt. Looking at the crumpled jacket and bent sketchbook, I didn't feel sad, but rather a sense of light, smug relief. This final act from Alex only proved his cowardice and immaturity. He had lost. Just as I predicted, Alex blocked me on every social media platform shortly after. But I didn't care. I had no desire to speak to him again, nor did I want to hear any fake apologies from him. Some people might think that contacting his family was crazy or going too far, but I don't think so. He chose to behave like a jerk, and I simply made that behavior known to more people. He turned a potential date into a terrible and disrespectful experience. So why should I stay silent and accept it? This story taught me a valuable lesson about dating and self-respect.
Follow us at
And it also reinforced
revengefiles.com.
an unwritten rule that I will always remember. If someone has the decency to ask you out, they also have the responsibility to ensure you get home safely. Period.